Hi, Ellie here from the Dark Imp, helping parents to reclaim family time by playing board games together. Today, at the end of the year, we're going to do my top 10 most played games in 2020. At number 10, Raccoon Tycoon. This is an economic game where you are buying and selling different kinds of commodities and luxury goods. You're trying to buy them when the cost is very low, and of course you're trying to sell them when the price is raised a lot so you can make the most money you can. And you need that money to bid on railroads and to buy towns. And you're trying to collect sets of railroads because that's going to give you the most points. And at the end of the game, most points wins. That's Raccoon Tycoon. At number 9, the first of our Zoom games, No Thanks. So some of the games on this list undoubtedly this year are because you can play them on Zoom. You can, if one person's got a copy, you can all play, right? So this is very simple. You've got a deck of cards from 3 to 33, I think. Might go higher than that. And you've got a little pile of tokens. Tokens are good and cards are bad. You're trying to get as many tokens as you can. And you're trying to get as few cards as you can. But when you are taking a card, you're trying to take cards that are sequentially next to each other. So consecutive numbers. So if you've got 6, 7, 8, you're only going to score 6. You score for the lowest number in your little run. So you want to get sequences of numbers and you want to stop other people from getting them. Every turn, a new card is flipped. And each player in turn says, yes, I'll have that card. And of course, cards are bad, or no thanks. And if they say no thanks, they put one of their little coins on it, which means that the player who takes that card gets the coins as well. It's a lovely decision-making game. You can play on Zoom, and we have been doing that. No thanks. At number 8, The Magnificent. Oh, it's a great game. I really like it. It's really beautiful. You are a circus manager trying to put on a show, and you're gathering performers, you're traveling around, you are putting on shows, and you're trying to get the most points you can in lots of different ways. There's a sort of tile placement section on your own board where you're putting these tiles next to each other and covering up things to give you bonuses. There's a wheel that you travel around to gain different bonuses. And then there's this track that you progress on when you're performing shows. Everything works together really nicely. You always feel like you haven't quite got enough time. And when you perform, you want loads of performers to be able to perform so that you can make the most of your action. The Magnificent, my number 8. Number 7 is Flux. Now, I am not a big fan of this game. It can go on for a long, long time. I mean, we've had it for ages. You can see the box is all battered. It's been played many times. This game has been played so much this year because during lockdown, we decided we would play a game every day as a family. Each day, a different member of the family got to choose the game. And my younger son, Bertie, is responsible for me having to play Flux so many times in 2020. There's ever-changing goals. You take cards, you do silly things. It makes me mad, and it's fun for about 15 minutes. And then I just want to throw it out the window. That's Flux, my number 7. Number 6, Trails of Tucana. It was on the list last year. It's on the list again. This is a brilliant roll and write game. You can play it with lots of people. I've been sending out these sheets to people and then playing with them online. It's a network builder. You're creating paths around your island, connecting one type of terrain to another type of terrain and trying to get to certain sites or special attractions on the island and connect paths to the villages around the outside. You get points by connecting attractions to villages. You get points by connecting villages to each other. And you get extra points if you're the first one to connect certain pathways. Trails of Tucana, my number 6. At number 5, Dominion. Now this is Dominion Seaside. We've got Dominion Intrigue and regular Dominion as well. And we tend to swap the cards around from different versions and mix them up together. So Dominion is a deck building game. We've had it for a long time. We keep getting it out because it is a firm family favourite. And it's one that all 4 of us absolutely love to play. And so you can't go wrong if you've got a game that everyone in the house loves and everyone would choose to play it. That's why it gets so much play. That's why it keeps coming back to the table. Dominion, my number 5. Now, number 4 is a bit out of the left field. A year ago, I would not have believed you if you told me this was going to be in my top 10 most played games this year, let alone at number 4, it's Pictionary. Okay, let me explain myself. We have had weekly game nights during the first lockdown and subsequently less regularly. At some point I worked out that using the shared whiteboard, you can play Pictionary on Zoom really easily. We haven't played it for points, we've just played it for fun. So I've shown a card up and everybody's closed their eyes apart from the person who's going to draw it, and then we've just tried to guess. We've done it to time, but we have just done it for fun. It has been absolutely brilliant, and because it worked so well the first time, we played it every single week. It was like, all right, end of the night, let's play Pictionary. So Pictionary, my number 4. At number 3, Lost Cities. Oh, it's still one of my favourite 2-player games. It is brilliant. It's so simple. You have a deck of cards. Each card is one of 5 colours, and in each colour there are numbers from 2 to 10. You get a hand of 8 cards, and so does your opponent. And on each turn, you're going to play a card and then pick up a card. You play a card from your hand. You can either play it onto a discard pile. There are 5 discard piles for the 5 different colours. Or you can play it into an expedition in front of you. Once you've started an expedition, you have to go on that expedition. And it costs you 20 points for each of the 5 expeditions you decide to go on. So as soon as you put your first card down in an expedition, you're at minus 20 points, and you have to earn back those points. It's lovely. It's a game of hand management. It's so simple to teach. It's so easy to learn. You get playing really quickly. The games are short, and each time you play, you go, oh yeah, that strategy doesn't work. I'm going to try what you did work, and then you try that, and then it's like, oh, it didn't work because you did something even better. That's the story of my life, basically. Lost Cities, my number 3. Number 2, Nova Luna. This is a brilliant game. I think I've played it at every possible opportunity. It's got a lovely mechanism where the person who's furthest back on the track, it's their turn next. So you can take tiles that are really powerful, but they're going to move you lots of spaces, so it'll be a while before you have a turn again. Or you can take tiles that aren't as powerful and that only move you a couple of spaces, and you're going to get a turn again more quickly. So you're taking tiles, you're placing them in front of you, and they score according to what is around it. And they've each got different things that allow you to score. And every time you've managed to complete one of the mini objectives on your tile, you're going to put a little token over it. When your tokens have all gone, or when one person's tokens have all gone, that's the end of the game. It's the first person to get all their tokens out on their board. It's a simple game. It is totally wonderful. I love it. Nova Luna, my second most played game this year. Now, anyone that knows me and my family will not be surprised by the number 1 most played game this year. It is the same as the number 1 most played game of 2019. It's Terraforming Mars. This, I think, is the most complex game we have in our collection, and it's the one that comes to the table the most often. It has a place in our hearts. We all love it. We love the variability. We love the competition. We love the engine that you're building. We love the variety, so you can play one time and you have a totally different experience from the time you play next. We love the expansions. There's 5 different expansions. You can add them or take them away and make the experience different each time you play. Terraforming Mars is not the first game you're going to choose when you're just getting into board gaming as a family. It's complex, but it's wonderful. We love it. My number 1 most played game of 2020, Terraforming Mars.